Jake, let me ask you a question. When you when you're in Africa, what is one of your favorite things to do?
Well, I guess it depends on what part of Africa.
Let's say you're in South Sudan, at our field there in
Kwang Rock.
Quang Rock, yeah, or even in Nuba. Like, what's one of your favorite things to do?
Well, in the Kwang Rock, my favorite thing is definitely to go play soccer in that little school field, or hang out with my boy Young Atak.
Okay, and if you're in Nuba?
If I'm in Nuba, I love having tea in the morning, especially at the compound we stay at. There's a lot of NGOs that come around.
Oh, wait, let me freeze you right there. You love doing what?
Having tea in the morning.
Having tea in the morning. Look, it's tea time.
It's tea time.
Because what happens around the concept of tea?
You end up generally just kind of talking about what your organization's doing there, how you ended up getting involved in Nuba, the history of how you got there.
So we're going to start with a little tea time this morning.
A little tea time.
And we'll be doing some tea times later on. But this morning we're going to start with a little tea time because we are wanting to hear back from you about what happened in Nuba. And wanting to be sure that everybody who's been a part of that, praying and giving towards it, that they kind of know what happened in Nuba. You up for tea time?
I'm ready. I'm back in Nuba.
What kind of tea would you like? Would you like chamomile?
I
Wait. I've got chamomile. I've got, let's see here. Oh, I've got passion tea. This one's nice. It's a cinnamon hibiscus. Wait, you could have just standard tea.
You know, in honor of my boys in Kwang Rock,
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with the standard.
With the standard tea.
That's what they drink every day. So
You know, I think I'll do the same. And now, thinking about those guys, usually when they do tea for you, how much sugar do you get?
it's kind of like a cup of sugar with a little bit of tea. But I'm gonna hang off on the sugar.
Okay, so we'll hang off on sugar. I tell you what I do have. If you're interested, I have some wild lavender honey.
Bro, I almost brought you back. We bought a huge thing of Nuba honey because it was the season for it. And they wouldn't let us take it on one of the flights from Yida.
Have you heard of the concept of a bribe?
Yeah.
I could have got that honey on the plane. I'm just going to say. Today, I suppose you're not going to have any wild lavender honey, but we can have our tea and have a little discussion about what happened in Nuba.
Perfect.
And let me share with you guys, we're, of course, in the middle of this coronavirus here in the States. Part of the story coming out of Nuba has to do with coronavirus. Not all of it, but part of it does. And we will plan to, like this weekend or maybe first part of next week, we'll give some updates. We're trying to understand now how this virus is going to exactly impact ATC and what we do internationally and also how we function here at home. So we're trying to figure all that out. We'll be coming at you with some probably weekly kinds of updates around all that. And we'll do that in the form of a tea time as well. And we're gonna begin to do some reporting about what's happening in the fields on a weekly basis as well. So maybe you're gonna get a couple of videos a week, not too long hopefully, but maybe you'll get a couple of videos a week that begin to help you understand. And we recognize when we're talking to you here, we're also talking to a lot of people who are following us on Facebook or Instagram, who are not in the United States. So it's also a way for us to communicate with those out on the field. We know already, for example, that in India, the country's just been put on a 3-week lockdown. We know that in South Sudan, there's been a ban on international travel. I suppose you're glad you got
out just in time.
Yeah, I bet you're glad. I would not want to spend
3 weeks in Juba
in the middle of a pandemic.
No.
And then in Sudan, there's other measures that are also being put in place. I'm not sure. We don't know exactly what's happening in the Middle East, although we do know that some countries are on lockdown there. So it's going to change the game. It's going to change how we operate internationally. And this will give a chance for all those who tune into us internationally, our people there, to hear from us. It also gives us a chance to share with you, those who support us both financially and with your prayer. It gives us a chance to share with you exactly the thinking and what plans will emerge. Today, however, we're going to just talk about Nuba. We're going to take about 5 minutes and do that. Is that good with you?
Perfect.
So you went to Nuba. What day did you leave?
We flew out of DC on March the 7th.
I was on sabbatical at that point.
You were.
I was in New York.
That was a weird time.
Relaxing, yes.
Yeah.
And it was quite.
I'll tell you, the hardest thing about going to Nuba this time was not being able to talk to you about it constantly.
That's a game changer.
It is.
But good for you.
Yeah.
Huh? Bringing you up. Where do you got to go? All right, so you guys left. You went to Nuba. And of course, that involves a flight to Ethiopia, from Ethiopia on to Juba, I would say. You probably spent 1 or 2 nights in Juba?
1 night in Juba.
Just 1 night in Juba?
1 night.
While the flights were arranged to Yida. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Yida is a refugee camp right on the border of Sudan and South Sudan. And so you were able to fly into Yida. What kind of plane did you take up there?
We took a World Health Organization, or WFP, World Food Program plane.
World Food. Oh, you guys went first class.
Yeah, you know.
The last time I went, we were all sitting on the floor. Yeah, it's a little different game.
I've done one of those. I'm glad. I think I like the WFP flight better.
Well, it's a little more reliable, that's for sure. So you guys then got into Yida, and then within 3 or 4 days, you were moving into Nuba. Is that right?
So we stayed 1 night in Yida, and then we were supposed to leave actually that day, but you know how it goes with transportation and all that. So we didn't end up leaving until the following morning.
Okay, so the goal of the trip was to take some aid to children who were on the periphery of SPLA North controlled areas, because those are the kids that are most at risk. The goal was to take some aid to those kids, and the goal was to begin to set up some educational opportunity for a number of those children. Is that right?
Right. So the area, I won't say the exact area we were supposed to be working in.
Wow. Security, huh?
Security.
Okay, go ahead.
But essentially what was going on was there was, like, the main village of that area was still government controlled. So we were going to go in the outskirts, a couple kilometers out where, you know, some less controlled villages were happening. And we were going to meet the kids there and essentially see them out. And there were platoons of soldiers out ahead of us,
Nice.
kind of monitoring.
I like that. If I'm going to the Nuba, I prefer some platoons to move ahead of me.
Yeah, which I found out some of the ways they do all that was pretty cool. They do like 32 soldiers go out, and then they have 32 soldiers to back them up so that if they get into a fight, the other 32 soldiers can go ahead, like they can switch out and take their tea. And like, it's interesting.
One thing we've seen in Sudan is that regardless of a war, civil war, whether that was in South Sudan or whether that's in Sudan now, regardless of that, you're still going to have tea time in the morning.
100%.
That's why we're doing tea time now in the middle of
probably in the afternoon too.
Coronavirus. We're going to have tea time.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Got to.
We got to keep moving. We got to go forward. We can't stop.
Can't stop.
I saw a video that said no barriers, no lines. We would not cross.
That's true. That is our policy.
And that's what we're going to do.
That's what we're going to
do. So you guys were going there to do that. And you guys were also, were you going to go by and see the school as well?
So we were. Yes, sir. Yes, we did. We saw the one that ATC is currently constructing. And then we also went to go see the one that the other 50 children that helped get out of their situation through ATC's help. We went and saw where they're at.
Okay, let me give a little background to that. ATC has been in a 2-year project. By the time it's completed, it's not yet totally completed. However, all the funds have been secured. By the time it's totally completed, about a $50,000 project to construct a middle school. And there, middle school is grades 7 through like 12 or something like that. And so to construct a middle school in the controlled SPLA North controlled area of Sudan that still remains, at this point at least, independent from the Khartoum government. We really engaged that project with the understanding and knowing that currently there is only 6 middle schools in the region, and so that 6 middle schools are trying to serve a population base of about 1.5 million. So obviously the need for a school exists. For us, education is also a complete education where there can be education not only about reading and writing and arithmetic, all the fundamentals, but there would also be education around English as a second language, and where there would be education around religious education, around Jesus and who he is, and really even how Jesus is the answer to the solution to the problems and things that are going on in Nuba. So that's a project we've engaged in. We are about halfway through, or a little more than halfway through now, that 2-year project. So when you guys got on site to see the school, what did you see?
So all the walls are up. So there's 2 classrooms, kind of like an office for the teachers, and a storeroom where they'll keep like the food for the kids that are attending the school.
Right.
All the walls are up, kind of foundations are laid, and now they're just kind of waiting on the roof and putting in doors and stuff like that.
So there is
and finishing the floors.
And finishing the floors. So those final steps that he's suggesting need to occur. Just so that you know, there are we had a donor come forward here not too long ago while I was gone. Actually, maybe I should leave more often.
I don't think so.
We had a donor come forward while I was gone, and that construction is completely funded, and we'll be moving those funds down, and that construction will probably go on through the rest of right now, which is the dry season, and so hopefully to be done by rainy season, which begins in June or July. This would position them then to be ready after their winter. It would position them to be ready to start school and get it moving. Our commitment there was to build the school. There are local community efforts that we've worked with, some church related and some just kind of community related. But there are local efforts there who have taken on the responsibility of the functioning and ongoing expenses and nature of that school. Our responsibility was to build the actual facility. So you guys got to see that.
We did.
I saw it a couple of months ago, or whenever that was, and maybe 3 months ago. I was impressed really with the quality of construction that occurred there.
Yeah, it looks. I've seen other schools in Nuba. That one definitely stands out in terms of like it just looks really good.
Yeah, they've done a great job with that. And so for you guys went then from there on up further north into Nuba. We don't have to mention regions, but you went further north up into Nuba to connect with the kids. Is that right?
I did, yes, sir.
So when you got there were some kids who have already been taken out and rescued, right? And I think about 50 of them. Did you get to see those guys?
I did.
Did they sing for you?
They did not sing for us.
Oh, when we went, they sang for us.
I don't know. I guess I'm not David Fuller, you know.
Well,
I'm like the B class.
Yeah, second string.
Junior, JV. You know?
JV. I wouldn't say that, but you got to see the kids, and they're doing okay and doing fine.
So we got to watch they did like a clothing distribution. So that was cool to see them get like new clothes, and they're super stoked.
New clothes and food to eat and education. All of these kids, there's about 50 of them who have received that. So the ongoing nature of that project was to identify 50 more so that there can be a total of 100 kids who are being fed and who are receiving some form of education. It looks a little different than it would here in the U.S., but some form of education and clothing and some things that they need. Is that right?
Right, yes, sir.
And so I would imagine moving into an area like that is extremely, as you begin to move north, it's extremely political.
That would be saying it very lightly, yes.
And you got to wrestle with the local government entities?
Quite a few wrestling matches.
Yeah? Okay, well, I've learned that once you wrestle, usually you're going to lose the first 2 rounds. But if you stay in the game in the 3rd round, you might at least pull a draw.
Yeah, I think it took us to about the 4th round. But so the first meeting went really well. It was us with the deputy governor of that area, and we kind of came to an agreement of they weren't going to let us go fully into the region because they were nervous about our security.
Yeah.
And then meeting 2, we kind of, at the instruction of my father, continued to push, like, no, we want to go to this area. We want to go to
Your father gave you instructions while he was on sabbatical?
Yeah, I kind of broke down. I had to reach
It wasn't hard to do from my place there in New York.
Right.
Yeah.
Getting internet in Nuba is a little bit more difficult.
So my understanding is that you guys were able to then make the trip, which had been funded, and then also you were able to purchase food for 100 kids. Is that right?
Yes, sir. So we were able to bring that to the 50 kids that are currently there and put it in a storeroom.
Right.
So the first day was filled with just the sorghum, and then other food was delivered later on in the week.
Perfect.
Like onions and okra and stuff like that.
Perfect. Hey, buddy, job well done in a difficult situation.
Thank you.
And now it was time to come home. But that was a little difficult coming home, right? Because of things in America had changed while you were gone.
Yeah. It was Wednesday, it was Wednesday y'all's time, Thursday our time, when we started hearing about the EU shutting, or like the US shutting down travel from the EU. So that was about 2 hours before our big meeting to make pushes with the government there. So that was probably the difficult thing, was trying to continue to push further into Nuba while also hearing about maybe not being able to get to America.
Yeah.
So that was definitely a scary time to be out of the country.
Yeah.
I'm glad my buddy was there. He kind of kept me grounded through a lot of the fear of, am I going to go home and see my wife?
Yeah. That is scary. I've been in that situation.
Yeah.
It's scary.
Especially now when you come back and you hear about South Sudan's not letting any international flights for 3 weeks.
Yeah. So my thinking is, like, you guys got out finally on Tuesday. On a Tuesday.
I think so, yes, sir.
Tuesday. And then landed in the States on Wednesday. I think, if I'm not mistaken, by Thursday or Friday, all international flights have been shut down, coming in and out.
Yeah, and you should have been at the airport in Juba. It was a bunch of, everyone from the NGOs was pulling out. So, the airport was just like crazy.
So let me just capitalize on a phrase he just used. He said all the NGOs were pulling out. You know, as we begin to think about what does long-range planning look like, it's hard to know how long-range planning you can do in the midst of all this. But as we begin to think about even short-term kind of future, what does it look like? It's hard to know. It's hard to determine. But we, ATC, we will be talking to people there and understanding what the impact of all this is. You know, they'll face the impact of the virus itself. They'll face the impact of all international entities pulling out. And so it could be significant. It could be quite severe, actually. And so we'll be monitoring that so we can determine what our response is to that. And not only our response to a crisis, but how it is we can weave the gospel and opportunity to teach and share about Jesus, how we can weave that all into whatever response we make. So we'll be doing that. For now, buddy, we're glad you're home.
Good to be home.
There's a lot of people who will see this who prayed for you guys, and kind of, I think, prayed you out of South Sudan. Would you like to tell them anything?
Thank you.
Are you going to drink your tea?
I am.
Go ahead. There's no sugar in it.
Thank you.
Guys, thanks for tuning in. We wanted to share, of course, what's happening with Nuba, and over the weekend or first part of the week next week, there'll be another video coming at you where we try to give some encouragement to those who are caught in other countries, and also maybe some encouragement and ministry with all of us who are kind of stuck at home waiting to see what's going to happen. God bless you, and thank you very much. We'll see you again for another tea time.